All right, tonight for the heaviest of topics in the future of warfare. What if the end of civilization is not nuclear, but biological? What if it's not a missile we should be scared of, but a pathogen? That is the hypothetical that investigative journalist and friend of the show, Annie Jacobsen, lays out in her new book, A Biological Warfare or War, a Scenario. And it moves really like a ticking clock. Here's how she lays it out. She says, U.S. intel is in a panic after satellites pick up this explosion at a bio-research facility out in Siberia, a site that has been linked to Russia's most secretive biological research. It's had problems actually in the past. And tonight, officials are desperately trying to answer one question in this book. Did a dangerous pathogen escape? It definitely got our attention. Joining us now is Annie Jacobsen to talk about this. Annie, the scenario here, it is wild. The research here is so illuminating. And I got to say, I'm reading this as we're covering like the latest outbreaks of salmonella and cyclospora, and I know that those are very different than the man-made disaster that you write about. But there are some overlaps when it comes to the confusion. How do we not have answers? Where are the gaps when it comes to surveillance? You're also seeing all this play out. You've researched all of this. How do you see today's detection of any sort of disease or virus that's spreading?
You know, we have a multi-billion-dollar system set up for precisely that, a syndromic surveillance system. CDC is supposed to be getting real-time reporting. As I show you in this book, it all fails miserably. We also saw that happen in COVID. And so we now know a biological catastrophe is not theoretical. It could happen. Even though this book is terrifying, and there's a spoiler alert at the beginning that it ends in dystopia, the point is to really have it be a cautionary tale.
It's a cautionary tale, and it's also happening while we're seeing what's happening on Capitol Hill with Dr. Fauci. We've got this grilling of Fauci. It's a Rorschach test, really, for so many people that are seeing this, that are remembering what happened with COVID and still wondering about what happened in Wuhan. And in this book, there's a distrust that is almost as powerful as the pathogen, right? That's still here. That's still among us, and I don't see an antidote to that.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I think it's a huge problem that the fear, the distrust of science, the distrust of our public health officials, the confusion over all of that has just ratcheted up this threat. You know, I was astonished after the Senate hearings with Dr. Fauci that even President Biden's COVID director, Dr. Jha, switched his position and said a lab leak out of Wuhan was plausible. And so, or actually he said it was probable. And so that's precisely why I choose a lab leak, because I want people to understand, as I learned, as I was talking with all these subject matter experts, that in biological war, it's not just a conventional attack. It is actually an accident or an incident that is just as dangerous to all of us. And an accident or an incident means a lab leak.
A lab leak. And, you know, gain of function, that is something that we are all familiar with. COVID-19, coronavirus, gain of function. They're seared into our brain. And yet gain of function is something that so many people pretend like they know what that means. And they have no idea. And I've covered it for a long time. I kind of knew what it meant until I read your book. And there's a very direct definition that you give. Health officials kind of tiptoe around what gain of function means because of the nature of gain of function. And I can see why it might be necessary, but give it to us straight. What does gain of function actually mean?
Gain of function, okay, so it's another way of saying genetic modification, but really easy to understand. And I'm with you that it's kind of like, what is that? It's such a mysterious term. Well, it's literally giving a pathogen, allowing it to gain more function. The function
allowing a virus to become more powerful.
Well, a couple things, and it's also a virus or a bacteria, that's a pathogen. It can become more virulent. It's a way of saying it's more deadly. It can have greater transmissibility. So you and I speaking here, if something was airborne between us, that is a pandemic potential pathogen, as opposed to something that is transferred if you touch it or by contact. Airborne is the nightmare scenario. Finally, what gain of function does is it can take away, with a very simple tweak, it can take away an existing medical countermeasure, like an antibiotic, like a vaccine. That's where you're really talking nightmare scenario.
Well, and to one up the nightmare that you've just laid out that you do in your book, also tweak the virus, so tweak the pathogen, so that people become euphoric when they go out and party and then spread it. And that is something that humans have actually thought of, and there is research into that, right?
You're exactly right. You know what I try to do in this book, because it reads like science fiction, but it is science fact. All of it is based in actual, real, historical situations that the Pentagon or public health officials have dealt with. And what you're talking about there, when I learned from a subject matter expert who was a former bacteriologist at USAMRIID, which is the Defense Department's only BSL-4 lab, he told me that Soviet biological weapons engineers were trying to genetically modify a pathogen, a plague pathogen, so that it had euphoria on the front end. You might say, euphoria, what would that do? Think about it. If you get really sick with something, you're going to go home, you're going to get in bed, you're going to get under the covers, you're not going to infect as many people. If you have euphoria, you're going to feel like you want to go out and socialize. You might even wind up at a disco, and that is precisely where the scenario
euphoric
begins.
Patient zero is absolutely terrifying. And again, things go south from there in your book. I got to say, you know, we cover a lot of the future of everything, the future of warfare. And I talked to a lot of names that have told me off the record, you know, I ask them, hey, aren't you worried about like killer robots? You guys are working on this killer robot stuff like AI. And they're like, no, like not even in the top 10. We're worried about biological warfare because of the asymmetry there and because it's so cheap to do, especially with the breakthroughs that we're seeing with AI. So they're not worried about rogue AI. They're worried about people with a little bit of understanding using AI to do something like that. Yeah. Are they off base?
Not at all. You're talking about AI-enabled bio. That is incredibly dangerous. I just use Mother Nature's pathogen tweaked because I want you to see how dangerous it is without AI. But because of the AI scenarios, you know, if you look at a Defense Department threat spectrum, I have a copy of one in the book, Unclassified. Nuclear weapons are the most destructive. No one would deny that. Biological weapons present the greatest overall threat for precisely what you're talking about. The barrier for entry is so incredibly low. You don't need nuclear command and control. You don't need fissile material. You don't need a submarine, a B-2 bomber.
Or a state behind you.
You need a computer and a nefarious mind.
There is something, you know, I was doing some research. I was researching questions to ask you about how to prepare for something like this. What type of gas masks would you use? All those things. I was plugging it into AI. I now use all of them, right? And all of a sudden, something weird started to happen. They started to shut me down. And they're like, you know, line of questioning, we can't respond. Something went wrong, we can't respond. And it does look like there is some sort of mechanism at play. And again, like this is just cursory here. But does it seem like the AI companies know the risks? Is enough being done to maybe curtail people's access to things that would allow something like this to be done relatively easily?
I mean, it's such an important question, and the answer, unfortunately, is yes and no. I had my own experience with that. I asked ChatGPT to help me identify where a strategic national stockpile is located right here in LA. Now, that's classified information. I knew it was. I wanted to see if I could make the AI tell me, and I used a lot of nomenclature, keywords, nothing classified, and I was able to make the AI tell me. Now, I mentioned that to some colleagues who knew Sam Altman. It resulted in a conversation between Sam Altman and I to get to the heart of your question. After I told Sam Altman what I was able to make that product to do, the ability to do it went away. The point is the AI CEOs don't know what they don't know until someone tells them. That's incredibly dangerous when you think, again, of bad actors out there.
Yeah, this is a book for everybody. And in particular, this is a book for anybody that has their hands on the world-changing technology of today, biological war. Again, if you are working in cutting-edge frontier AI, please read this. Annie Jacobsen, really, really a pleasure to talk. Not a pleasure to talk to you. It's existential when we see you. But again,
it always is. Thank you.
It's so important. Thank you very
so
much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.